share my screen. Show all. Can you see it?
Looks good.
Okay. Yeah. Talofa lava and good afternoon from Samoa. My name is Sapeti Tiitii and I am a Principal Fisheries Officer responsible for inshore fisheries and aquaculture. And I'm so happy to be part of this event to celebrate Limu, in Hawaii, and I think Samoa has already been included to your program. So I acknowledge the help from everyone behind the scene, especially my brother Kevin that got me into this, and it was an opportunity to meet you all and share what we have done so far with Limu and also our other work within fisheries. So what got me interested in the Limu work was that I just done my master's of science in 2020, and I studied the Limu, the eatable seaweeds in Samoa. And so for this week, we started taking the work out to the communities, and my team is working. We've done the consultation in the morning, so I came back here to present our work. So yeah, without further ado, I will go on with the presentation. And wait, somehow, okay, I'm trying to. Yeah, first of all, for any aquaculture work that we have to do with communities and even with the general public, we all have to know why we are doing this work and what sort of uses that benefits us as consumers, and everyone, because the slang that I always hear about aquaculture work, you only culture what you can eat. So I'm sure the Hawaiians and anyone, even the Samoans, if it's nothing to do with anything that you can consume, they won't interested. They're not happy with it, they won't support it. So the uses of seaweed from the research that I've done mostly is for food consumption. And we know that, and I'm sure Hawaii is also agree with me. And the other uses is with medicine, and I always use the examples from Hawaii with the Mendocino. There was a study that conducted in Hawaii looking at the cultural values, the traditional use of seaweeds. And what is in the literature is that in Hawaii with the limu kala, the sarcasm, that it's used by our old people for forgiveness. That everyone is wearing this to reconcile with the family and even within the village or any community. And when they sort out their problems, then they all go back to the sea and they take out all these layers of limu kala, and then you let the current wash it away. it symbolizes that all the problems and all the conflicts within the community or within the family has been washed away, you know, out in the sea, and then nobody will see it again, nobody will hear it again. So those are the type of medicine that helps our people. Thirdly, it's with pharmaceutical. And fourthly, it's cosmetic. And you know, the agar, you know, there's a component in the seaweed that contains in seaweed that goes agar, and it has it's been incorporated in producing shampoos, lotions, you know, even make soap. And that's why they don't run. You know, when you pour the lotion or shampoo, it doesn't run like water. It's because of the seaweed agar that it's been added into these products. And it's also added into ice cream. That's why the ice cream doesn't melt easily. You know, it's solidified when you put them in the fridge. It's because the agar from the seaweed really helps to hold all the particles of those products. The other uses of seaweed is to manufacture animal feed, especially the cows, the cattle farming, because the methane that the cows released in the air, it really damages our ozone and also our gas around the environment. So therefore, adding the seaweed into the animal feed, it really helps to minimize or less that methane gas that released from the cattle. Seaweed is also good for fertilizers, and we have been practices this in our during our work in the past in fisheries, where we develop or put together compost, you know, just to see whether it really helps with our veggie gardens. So one of the women in business organization in Samoa is doing this as one of the activities, is to produce compost from the seaweeds. In Australia and in Indonesia, they started to make to produce biofuels from using the seaweeds. So just to give an overview of seaweed around the Pacific from my study, and in the Pacific, the four Kolepa is mostly found. It's found here in Samoa, Fiji, Tonga, and also in Hawaii. And with Halimenia, the red seaweed, it was only recorded found in Hawaii, Fiji, and Samoa. So in Hawaii, seaweed is well documented. You know, species identified, the medicine use and traditional, the nutritional benefits is all already been evaluated. And this was the work from from the seaweed pioneer, and she is from Hawaii, the lady Isabel, Dr. Isabel Abbott. You know, she's the pioneer of study of seaweed around the Pacific region, and that got me very interested to look into seaweed in details, because in Samoa there was no information available on seaweed. You know, in the past, I think we started to have information being documented in the last 3 years. You know, 2018, we just started to document our information. Even with the seaweed in Samoa, we just say limfuafua, the Samoan names. But in terms of scientific There was no information. So that's why the work that Isabel has done with the Hawaii seaweed, it really it gave me an insight, to have a look in depth of the Samoan seaweeds. So from my research, I was able to identify seaweeds in Samoa, the species. We have the Heliminia derville with this one on the far end. And interestingly, the second Heliminia, or the red seaweed species that we have here in Samoa, it's very unique. There's no any other country in the world have this, because we collected the samples and we're trying to find the strengths, and it doesn't have this species. So we continue to collect seaweed samples for this to solidly identify, the species. The third one, we have the Colepa, the sea grape, the Colepa racemosa. And then the second species that we do have here is the Colepa chemnitzia. And it's easy to identify this because the two different islands have the two different species that we have here in Samoa. So why seaweeds? We always ask these questions. Why we're going to advertise and promote seaweed? Seaweed is a good source of sustainable food in the Pacific. It's you don't need to feed it. You just need to grow them. It's very nutritious in terms of vitamins and minerals, as already been mentioned. It has the fiber, the omega fatty acids, and in some cases the protein. It's inclusive, where both men and women are able to work together, in a family, in a community. And with any project that we are working nowadays, it comes with the gender and social inclusion, empowering women to work together. So we prepared these fact sheets on seaweed, the eatable seaweeds of Samoa, and then looking at the recipes, how we prepare them. Because if we, like the governments or communities or NGOs trying to work on aquaculture, if we don't explain it well or raise the awareness of our communities, nobody will willing to help us. But if they see that seaweeds has nutritional and health benefits for them, it also has economic values, then surely, no doubt, they will lend a hand and willing to assist us in all the work that we're trying to do. It also has socioeconomic benefits. It's low cost, it's affordable, and it has cultural and social significance. So overall, how do we integrate all this information, from a fisheries point of view, to the communities, how to motivate people to consume more seaweeds. It's through public awareness, showcasing what are the nutritional benefits, the health benefits of seaweed. Introduce them on the methodology, the seaweed farming, the recipes I've already alluded to earlier, and also the values, the economic values of seaweeds. So we conducted this study last year because we are trying to see, if we are working on nutritional and health benefits, we have to inform the communities how much seaweed that you have to consume. And then we say, okay, that's healthy. So, and because we cannot bring the diets, the Australian diets, and then say, okay, Samoans, you have to consume your seaweed like this. No, we have to collect the data. So as a result, we found out that all the vitamins B1 and B2, the iron in men and zinc in women, even the fiber, in a Samoan diet, it's all lower. It's all lower. It's very low in their diet. So we're trying to model it. You know, if you consume at least half a bundle or one bundle of seaweed within a week, then we'll say that seaweed contributes because it has all these vitamins, iron, zinc, and fiber in it. So that was the results, preliminary results from the work that we've done last year, in order to improve the diet, you know, and for Samoans to eat more seaweed in their diets. So with sea grape, we found out that it has these nutritional and health benefits. You know, as already been mentioned earlier, it's good. It has omega-3 that is good for the heart and the brain. It has vitamin C that gives the energy to the body. You know, it has the iron that is good for the blood system, and especially the ladies and the mothers. You know, it has fiber, the calcium, and antioxidants that protect our body from diseases, and it also helps cure cancer. So similarly to the reef seaweed, it also has the vitamins that helps with brain and heart, the body energy. You know, it helps lower the diabetes and high blood pressure, as well as it helps with the immune system. So just like to inform you all that this is the Upolu Island, and these are the sites where we are going to set up a seaweed farm, and we've done with 3 villages already in this area. This is one district, and we've done with Savaia on Tuesday. We were at Matautu yesterday. So today our team is working with the Pangamani. So this is one district, and we are going to set up a seaweed farm for all these 10 communities in Upolu. And we've done with our 10 communities in Savaia. And the project is through the UNDP, and it was funded by the government of Japan. It's a Japanese supplementary funds. And with this funding, the government of Japan specifically requested the UNDP and Sāmoa fisheries to work on seaweed development. So they didn't bring their money and they said, it's all up to you, fisheries and UNDP, whatever kind of work that you want to do. No, they specifically asked for work on seaweed. And this is because I have been to Okinawa in Japan and been to seaweed hatchery there. And the species that they do have is similar. You know, it's similar to the one that we have here in Samoa. So I am sure that's the reason behind donating this funding and specifically asking for a work on seaweed. So that's how we set up the farm, and we in the communities. So those are the communities that we've done our work on so far. And we always requested the village mayor to include the women, you know, bring in the women, because when we talk about preparation of food, it's always women that's their role in a family. So we got the women to come and have a look and see how the work is being carried out. So with this picture, You know, with the method that we are introducing to the communities, it's also good when you're coping with climate change, you know, and also saves time and effort, because this woman here, she's from one of the villages that harvest seaweed and expose them for sale. She'll spend like 2-3 hours in the sun, in the sea, to collect the seaweed. So we introduced this method, you know, when you harvest them, and it only takes you 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks, and then you harvest. And with this tray of 2 meters length by 1 meter width, you get to have 60 bundles of seaweeds. 60 bundles of seaweeds, and then you sell it for 10 tala or 15 tala. So you're looking at 600 more, you know, for only from one tray. So it really helps with uh, sustainability of the resource, you know, generating income for food security, and also it copes with climate change. So this picture here is one of the women's committee in one of the communities that successfully have their seaweed farm, you know, ready to be harvested. So that's how the trays look like when it's time to harvest. So that's how a seaweed farm looks like after when you set up. You know, it has all the rebars and that's and the seaweed on top of the screen. It's how you see the seaweed species underwater. It's right on the reef. And this is one of the communities that also succeeded during our seaweed farming preparations and setting up of their farms. So with the same projects, so we are working on constructing a seaweed hatchery, and I'm sure you will see some nice picture soon, but it's under construction. So at the same place, we also have on the other side, we have a hatchery spawning giant clams. You know, we carry out spawning work for giant clams, and it's a Tridacna terrasa. So at the moment, we have 18,000 juveniles of giant clams, and it's been rearing in the hatchery, and we already distributed 3,000 out to the village fish reserve, because in fisheries we do have a community-based fisheries management program, and this is one of fisheries undertakings is for restocking and reef enhancement program. So with the juveniles, with the giant clam juveniles that we do have, so we distributed them like 500 or 300 per village, and for them to raise them, and this is one of the community's giant clam nursery. You know, it has really huge Tridacna kaikas. So, and this community, we just finished setting up a seaweed farm on Tuesday. They also have a really good giant clam nursery, and they use this area as a ecotourism site, you know. And with the impact of COVID-19, there were no tourists from overseas, but there were still Samoan tourists. So they usually go and swim, and the village charged them. So one of the years, I think was 2018, the village communities collected more than 30,000 Samoan tala just from the ecotourism site, and the village used that money that funding, you know, for the primary schools desk and furnitures, and it also helps to maintain the fish reserve markers and clean their marine environments. So that's the funding that they utilize. Yeah, so we also encourage and advise communities to work together with Fisheries Division in terms of monitoring and maintenance, and also collecting the data, because we know that the donors nowadays, yes, they are happy to see pictures, they are happy to see the words, or even presentations like this, but they also would happy to see numbers, the data, how much the family or the village has been growing when we started seaweed farming, and the monitoring from time to time. So we urge the communities to work together with fisheries in terms of data collection. Yeah, so that's a happy faces from the Samoans for the seaweed work that we've done so far. Yep, thank you very much, and I'm happy to respond to any questions or comments that you have in place for me. Thank you very much.
So awesome, Sapeti. Motu Saga dropped the question in the chat here asking, how do you select your sites for the seaweed farms?
That's a very good question. With the villages that we are working, that we have for the seaweed farming, the villages that we select are under our community-based fisheries management program. And with those villages, we already have biological, ecological, and also some baseline information. And we also conducted assessments and monitoring in their marine environments. And we are familiar with their communities, and we know that when we set up developments like this or projects, they are cooperate. So we use both scientific information as well as social information that we do have in order to collect, to select the communities. For the Savaia ones, and that's the lesson learned from us, the reason why we also look at on another hand, when we select the Upolu site this week, when we select the Savaia one, we also put them like far apart from each other. But what we found out, it was very hard to monitor. Because, like even if the village is there, they won't go there until we came. So when we select our Upolu sites, we came up with the solution, it's best to select the 6 from one district. When we do the monitoring, like one day, we are able to monitor the whole 6 farms. So that was another thing that we looked at. But in terms of baseline information, we do have baseline information for all the communities. And suitability of the marine area, that was another criteria that we take into consideration. Because even if the communities is good, but the environment, their habitat is not feasible for this kind of developments, yeah, we won't select them. But we explain it to them, the reason they are not being selected. I hope that answers your question.
May I ask a question? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Carla. And in this photo right here, the children are those plastic bags or banana leaves? Is the calerpa, the fua in there? Is that the seaweed?
Yes, that's how they wrap the limu fuafua. That's how they wrap the sea grape and expose them for sale. They use the palm leaves.
Palm. Okay, not banana, but palm. So it's
Yeah.
fresh and they sell it pretty much in one day.
Yes, they will be some of the sellers, it will be sold in one day, but other sellers they can resell them on the second and the third day.
Oh wow. What do they
Yes.
do with them between day 1 and 2? They don't put them in the refrigerator. So
No, seaweed is very bad if you put them in the fridge, and even if you rinse them with tap water. So don't put them in the fridge, don't rinse them in tap water.
no.
But what they do is they rinse them in the seawater.
Water.
Yes, and with the palm, with the coconut basket,
Yep.
and then they put it there to let the seawater, it's like rinsing them with seawater.
Right. And then they just put it in the shade until the next day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the wind is also another enemy of the seaweed.
Right.
It's
right.
the wind, the sun, the fridge.
Right.
Yeah, and the tap
And the
water.
fresh water. Yeah.
Yes,
no.
yes.
The reason I ask is because Mai, who's on the, I think was on the Zoom, we did some experiments trying to keep it. And so she could tell you about smelly seaweed when we tried to keep it for several days. We looked at shelf life to see how long.
Okay.
Good. I'm glad you got that figured out.
Yes. I think Damien's hand is up.
Hello, mahalo for your presentation.
Thank you.
I want to ask you, the limo farms, are any of them in the ocean, or are they in on the shoreline in containers?
The limu.
Are some of them some of the farms in the ocean, on the shoreline, or are they grown in containers?
Okay. It's in the ocean, but how we set up in on shore, because we need to cover all this, and then we take it out to the sea, and then we put the cages around it, because before that we just take the trays and hang it, in the sea. But there was a predator, the fish crazed on them. So we modified the method and put the cages around it. It's around it, and on the top, a cover. So it's all been covered. So that's we protect the seaweeds from fish, from the fish grazing.
What about waves or rough ocean, rough seas, waves?
Yes. These farms are set in the lagoon area, and there was another criteria that we look at is the villages, the communities that have really good lagoon area. When it's low tide, you still have like 1 to 2 meters depth, so we chose the sites of the marine area that when it's low tide, the corals and the substrate doesn't expose to the sun. Yeah. So these farms are set in the lagoon area. It's about 2-3 meters from the road, so everyone can see it. And it's easy for the communities to look after from poaching.
And what about runoff from sewer or things like that? Does it? Is there any runoff that affects the limo growth?
In this area that we chose, no runoffs. Yeah, there are no runoffs. As you can see the pictures, the water is very clear. You know, and all the sites that we chose, you know, it's similar scene of clear water. You know, all of those criteria we take into consideration. No villages near river, you know, no farm close to a freshwater, you know, the freshwater pools, you know, like sometimes they have freshwater pools in a coastline. So all those criteria we look at in selecting the communities.
Okay. Mahalo. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sapeti. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming today. I probably have a lot of questions, but maybe the first question I have is, can you tell us about the community-based fishing programs you guys have? And if you can maybe touch on how communities are involved in that, and how, I guess, how close to Samoan tradition you feel what you guys are doing is happening within the communities. You know, like some communities may no longer want to follow certain protocols or whatever. I'm just kind of, we're trying to do that here in Hawaii, but we don't have, you know, like a village system intact. I think the way your community still has, so I'm kind of interested in the contrast and what you guys do there.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin, for your question. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, the Fisheries Division has a community-based fisheries management program. So within each communities that we are working together with, they already have an approved village fisheries management program. Each village has a village fisheries advisory committee that deals directly with work in the marine environment. They also have village bylaws, and with any new development that we do have, you know, we always selected from these 120 coastal communities under the CPFMP, or the Community-Based Fisheries Management Program. So for any work that fisheries have with these communities, we contacted the village mayor, as he or she is the voice of the village communities to the government. And they are also employed under the Ministry of Women, Community and Social Development. So before we come out to the communities, we also write official letter to the Ministry of Women and Community and Social Development, informing them of the type of work that we are doing out in the communities, the involvement of the village mayor and his committee, and how long and when are we going to conduct this work. So after that, when we get the approval, then we contact the village mayor. This and this, we are coming on this day at this time. And these are the people that we need to be included in the village meeting. You know, you as a village mayor, we want some chiefs. We would like to see women. Sometimes the mayor will like, oh, we don't need women, you know? And we said, okay, then we don't come to your village. We'll choose someone, you know? And they'll go, why do you need women? We are here, you know, we are the decision maker. And I always tell them, you know, yes, you are the decision maker, but nowadays with the new generation and the new era that we are living in, it's the equality, the equality of all gender that we are trying to incorporate here. Because you men, you just keep talking, but with the preparation of everything, we the women do it, and they go, okay. So all the villages that we've been to, like even the classic example is the village this morning. We got there, only we have like 10 men, and then the young ones. Okay, and my first question, oh, where are the women of our village? And he goes, oh, don't worry, we are here, the men are here. And I said, okay, but we won't start until the women come. So they rushed to the back where the women like sitting there, preparing the breakfast. And they go, okay, come, let's go. So, like we are trying to shift that and empower them, especially the men, the village, the Matai system, the chief system, that they, they think that they will do the decision, everything. But nowadays, we need contribution from all gender. So that's how we go with our program. And even with the village fisheries management program plan, we have to have a component inside where women has to contribute, because they have their own way of fishing. They have their own way of preparing food. So that's how the community works together with the fisheries division. And I think a good relationship that you create with the community, to understand what developments that you are trying to put forward, and how does it benefit the community as a whole. So I think with that good relationship and the networking, that's how our work has been working well and successful with the communities. I hope that answers your question, Kevin.
Yeah, thank you, Sapeti. I see Wally's hand is up.
Aloha, Sapeti. When Alex told me about your talk today, she told me about it sometime last week. I got so excited about it, and thank you for your presentation. You never disappoint. I got so much to say. I got so many comments, but one of the challenges that we have in Hawaii, as far as the type of limu growing on a shoreline like you do, is a big obstacle is government regulations, but also access. And so we are kind of more or less restricted to growing the limu in tanks on land, kind of like what Damien was kind of referring to. And but we also, well, one thing I occasionally talk about limu to people, and one of the things that we always include in our talk is the environmental importance of limu. You speak about economic, social, financial, but there's also a lot of environmental importance to limu. Like I said, I got so much more to say, but I'll stop here and ask the question. The main question that's been in my head is: or have you noticed a decline in the limu abundance and limu population or in your lifetime?
Yes, thank you for the question, Wally. Yes, we have seen the decrease. And I think that was one of the reasons why we being motivated to look at the aquaculture side of limu to sustain the this resource. And we have noticed it because we collect market survey data, and we've seen that there are times that the limu, because the limu itself, it's just like a tree or a weed on the land. It matures. It matures sometimes. When it matures, it dies out, and then it regrow, especially around September, October. You know, around that time, then it matures and die off. And then around end of October, November, it flourish again. And we have noticed the decrease. And when it decreases, that's when the price is going up. You know, economically, the demand and supply. Because usually limu pando, it's 5 tala. That's about $2 or $3 US, eh? So, but now it goes up to 10 tala. So around $5 US. When it's less supply, it really goes up to 15 and 20 tala. You know, it has that economic value in it when it comes to the demand and supply trend. So yes, we noticed the decrease, and I am sure that's where the aquaculture comes in. You know, trying to sustain the resources, and with the hatchery that we are building at the moment, we'll surely do help provide the support for these farms. But yes, we do see the decrease.
Sorry, Kat, one follow-up question to that. You made a great point that this is what we see as far as our limu in Hawaii too. Yeah, there's it comes and goes. A lot of people don't understand that. They think that, you know, once you plant the limu and it's going there, it's going to be there every time you go. And sort of, I guess the follow-up question is, you as far as your growing method offshore, that are you able to, despite that seasonality of coming and going of limu, are you able to still yet continue growing the caliper year round?
Yes, we are able to grow them the year round, because we like there are more sites that seaweed, the caliper is growing naturally. You know, both Upolu and Savaia. So when one site doesn't have it, the other sites will still have the caliper. And with the building of our hatchery, surely it will give us the support to farm it on a year round, yeah, all year round.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Sapeti, I see more questions from Alfina and Mai, and then I think you answered Motusanga. I just want to say before we do go, if you could tell everybody about Palolo and the season there. I don't think we have that in Hawaii, and I think it's just kind of an amazing event you guys do over there. I'm just throwing that out there, and I'll lower my hand now. Thank you.
What's the question?
For Maya asked if you guys have future plans to export limu.
Yes, I think that's the intention that we do have, is to be able to export it, because I've been to Fiji, in the Solomons. You know, the local communities are receiving good money from the limu that they export to Indonesia, they export to Asia countries, and that's the intention and the aim for us. But for any other work that we do, people look at, you know, even the farmers, we want to export, but you have to have enough supply, you know. And I think once the communities get hold of how to farm the seaweed, then we're looking at another step, you know, is to generate market access in order to take our limu overseas. Especially, we do know that the species that we do have for Kolepa is the one that the Japanese preferred, because it has the peppermint taste, the aftertaste when they consume the Kolepa.
Since you mentioned the taste, most of what you're growing is the Chemanitsa, is that right? And
Yeah, the Rasmosa.
Oh, Rasmosa. Okay, now do you notice a difference between in taste between the Rasmosa and the Chemanitsa?
Yes, the Rasmosa one, it does. It's salty, you know, and sometimes it's Mentos, like it has the peppermint, you know, that peppermint taste. But for the Chemnitz, it's not really salty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not really salty, but it's crunchy. Like yeah, it's, by the look of it, it looks like grape wine, like grapes, but the taste, it's not really salty.
Okay.
And that's because of the habitats.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, it's because of the habitats that they grow in.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Different farms, maybe different flavors.
Yes.
Will you put your email on the chat? Because I want to send you, I don't know if do you have a copy of Posa Skelton did a real nice.
Oh, Posa Skelton?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he did a real nice, do you have a copy of his work on the seaweeds and seagrasses of Samoa? I'll send it to you. So if you put your, there it is. I'll send you, because I have it as a file that I can send you.
Okay.
And he, you know, very, very good taxonomist. I think he's retired to Australia now, but he really loved seaweeds from Samoa, and you know, has a really good booklet about them. So I'll make sure that I share that with you.
Thank you very much.
Sapeti, I know we're up at the hour.
Yeah, we have till 2:30.
Oh, we do? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you tell folks about Palolo? I'm interested if that's even in Hawaii. I don't think it is.
Oh, the Palolo. Okay, the Palolo is a polycate worm, and it's it rises twice a year in Samoa, and I think most of the Pacific Island, in Fiji, Tonga, even in American Samoa. So it's around October, November. And since our borders are open in in August, I can tell you the predictions for this year. It's around, just in case you want to come to Samoa around that time. The prediction for Palolo is around 15 to 18 of October. And around 14 to 17 of November. So if you want to come around to Samoa around that time, then you'll be able to catch the rise of the palolo. And it's a delicacy in Samoa, and it has that traditional value. You know, even if you're not a fisherman, a fisherwoman, but when it comes that time, you will wake up early in the morning to go to the beach or the sites that the emergent sites, you know, just to catch them. And the Samoan tradition, you have to be clean to go and catch the palolo. You have to wear, you know, you have to wear that moso'oi, the yellow flower tree, you know, you have to wear that. And even like hibiscus, you know, the smelly flowers, the nice scent flowers, it attracts the fish or the worm. So most of the people think that these are the coral coconuts or but no, it's not. You know, the palolo comes up, you know, it rises, you know, because it triggers the spawning of the corals, triggers the rise of the palolo to the surface of the water. So when it rises, this is his tail that the Samoans caught, but his head goes back to the coral to regenerate. And when it comes, you know, that's how they rise. And then when it's times for them to go back, you know, it's half of their body goes back to the corals, both male and female. So these are the eggs, you know, both male and female. So the Samoans caught the tails and they love eating them. And it comes twice a year, depending on the lunar cycle. It all depends on the moon phase, the wind, and the tide. So those are the three factors, the parameters that has to come together in order for the palolo to rise. And it also depends on the time of the year. So for the predictions of this year, it falls between 8 to the 18 of October. So they said that there will be a heavy emergence in November. So October, yes, it will be seen, but it will have heavy emergence of palolo in November. So that's the theory. But you know, like we will have to reconcile it to the crown truthing when it comes to October and November. So hope that helps, Kevin. Come to Samoa and then you eat palolo.
Sounds incredible. Uncle Wally, you have another question? Oh, you're mute, Uncle.
Okay, I forget what I was gonna say now. Well, first of all, it's more like a couple announcements. So here in Hawaii, this year, our governor declared 2022 as the year of the lemur. And that's really is helping and it's gonna continue to help create awareness about lemur. And so to follow up on that, next year, we are going to propose that the state name the limu kala, the sargassum that you mentioned earlier, Sapeti. So thank you so much for acknowledging the importance of that limu too. So we're going to try to get the legislature to declare the limu kala as a state limu, which we don't have currently. So when you set up your limu tanks in Samoa, I want to come. Never mind the pololu when you got your limu growing the tanks, because I have I'm growing limu in tanks also here in Oahu, and we're going to meet up with Carla and Maria in a few days and go to look at their limu growing operation. So I think us and anybody else on this call that's doing limu aquaculture, I think it would be great if we could all get together sometime soon. Well, as soon as you set up your limu tanks. So mahalo.
Oh, well, that's really good to hear, Wally.
Sorry, one more. In addition, for part of our Year of the Limu, we are working with University of Hawaii Sea Grant to reprint the Limu Eater. And this book was published in the mid-1970s. And in your presentation, you spoke about different recipes and stuff. So this book, although printed many years ago, it has rich. It has a lot of recipes of how not only Hawaiians but all the different ethnic groups in Hawaii use different limu. And so we're working to. We're going to have that reprinted. I don't know, Malia, you can remind me. I believe in August or September, the reprinting is coming out. And so we would definitely have to send you a copy. So mahalo.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we would love to have you coming over to see, because now you already set up your limu tanks, and this, you might have some technical advice to assist us in setting up ours. Yeah, very interesting. I have a question on the chat. It says from Alfina, since you are planning on exporting limu, do you have a way or an idea on how to keep the limu fresh or in good condition when exporting? Yes, we had, when I did my study in Australia, I'm still working with my supervisors that provide some technical assistance and support. And we had a look at how, and we came up, we done it. We had a look at how you take the water out of the crepes, out of the crepes. And then you can dry them and then you pack. So after one or two weeks, and then you take it out of a vacuum vacuum bag, and then you put it in fresh water, the tap water, and then the crepes fills in and it goes back to shape. So I'm just responding to that, but not yet finalize our experiments on that area. But those were some of the components of our other projects. They're looking at the shelf life and also how to utilize, to come up with ideas in terms of exporting seaweed. So that was one, dry it to dry it, and then put it back to fresh water, and then the crepes go back to normal, to the normal look. So yes, we are still looking at ways to export kolepa.
Good. I think Alfina had one more question from earlier, asking, does the seaweed farms yield a high mortality rate when it's time for harvest?
Yes, but around 1 to 2%. Yeah, it's not very high. but the majority of the trays, their lids, the lids really filled with the growth. But yes, we do experience, but it's very minimal. It's not a very high mortality rates.
That's great to hear. I actually have a question. I'm curious about like the community programs. Do community members, are they like compensated by the government for their monitoring and data collection, or is that voluntary?
Yes, it's voluntary. Yeah. There's no, that's why right from the start when we incorporate them with our work and with the community based, we don't the fisheries don't ask them, don't request for them. They ask us that if they want to join. It's a demand-based program. So right from the start, we never involve any money. In that way, it makes them feel ownership, that these are theirs. It's not ours. It's not fisheries. And I think us here in Samoa and the communities, they are used to communal work. You work for others. You work together. You work with other people for the benefits of your community. So we don't pay them to look after the farm. We don't pay them to collect the data. Yeah, so that's what we try to emphasize right from the start. But with the program, we don't with the program that we take to communities, this took 3 weeks. They don't pay for anything, the project pays for the cages, the trays, even the setting up of the farm, the tanks, the scuba tanks, everything is paid for. So we explain that to them. We don't give you money, but we bring the tools in and the expertise, for us to share with you. All you have to do is to look after our seaweed. So when they are growing and it's time to harvest, we don't eat it. You guys eat it. You guys, you help yourself with it, whether you're gonna sell it or you distribute it to the village. So yeah, we don't pay them.
Thank you for sharing, because it's something we think about here sometimes. So thank you for sharing that. I'll pass it over to Archie and then Uncle Damien.
Thank you, Alex. First of all, Sapeti Tiitii no fiona Sapeti. I truly appreciate this presentation because this is one of the areas of interest for us here in American Samoa that we want to develop. And it's good to hear that we have a resource right next door that has the experience. And I'd like to invite you to come over to Ulusapeti sometime soon. Hopefully during Palolo season. If you don't catch Palolo in Samoa, we're a day. We're a day behind. So if you miss it on the 18th of October, then you can come here and catch it. But I wanted to ask Sapeti, have you determined what the economic value is of seaweed? As far as commercial throughout all of Samoa. And
Yes.
are there opportunities? I know you're working on exporting it, but are there opportunities certainly to expand that?
Yes, we collect our market data 3 times a week. both in Upolu and in Savaia at the market outlets, the Apia Fish Market, the Fungale Aquaculture Market, as well as the roadside from Apia to the airport. So even the Salilonga market. So we collected the market survey, and the average price of a seaweed, average price per kilo is looking at 18 tala, per bundle on a monthly basis. So it's a very economical commodity, and people are benefiting from earning income from this resource. So yes, we do have market data, and also we're looking at the value chain, the value chain of seaweed. But if you farm from farming the seaweed, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, it's 60 bundles per 2 meters length and 1 meter width of an aqua tray. So it's a lot of money that you can earn from farming the seaweed. But we do have data of the market survey that we conducted, and it's very good money.
All right, well, thank you so much. I'll be reaching out to you and the ministry. Can work together.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the invitation.
Yeah.
Just real quick, Sapeti, one bundle is a kilo?
Yes,
Okay.
there are two markets or two islands. In Upolu, the average kilo is 0.64, so it's not yet kilo, and it's 10 tala. But in Savaia, it's 1.32 kilo for 10 tala. So it's worth going to Savaia to buy your limo.
Thank you.
Yes, Damien.
Hello, Sapeti. I wanted to ask you if the limo growing naturally around the island, if it's still plentiful, or is and are there regulations as far as harvesting the limo growing naturally?
Yes, there is. Like I said, it's plenty. It's good number. It's because there are less people selling them. It's not many people. You start to see many other harvesters coming in when we start to introduce this program. But there are no regulation. Limo is not included in the regulation. We only include fish and invertebrates into the local fisheries regulation 1996 that deals with undersized fish and shellfish. So limo is not included in the regulation.
Does each village control the harvesting of the fish in their area or not?
Yes, they are, because it's in their village bylaws, and in their village management plans for the village council and even the village fisheries advisory committee. They have to enforce the regulation of catching only the big fish, not the size limits one. So they enforce the regulation.
Hey, mahalo, thank you.
Thank you.
We have a few minutes left here, probably just enough time for one last question or announcement, any other sharing.
I have one question. Are there, see, here in Hawaii, we use many different kinds of limu. In fact, we kind of, what our limu hui trying to do is trying to recapture a lot of, we've lost a lot of that knowledge. Our limu hui is trying to recapture a lot of that lost knowledge. But so the question is, are there other limu that that is normally or typically harvested in Samoa?
See, Wally, I've been telling our communities this week, all the 70 species, we have 17 species of limu in Samoa, but we only consume 2. So maybe our ancestors and our forefathers at the time, when they see the red and the green, so they only choose the red and the green limu. So we only consume 2, the Kolepa and the Haliminia. But the other 15 species that we do have here, I've seen in the literature that Hawaii, the Hawaiian, the Fijian, the Tongan, and they consume them. But in Samoa, we only consume 2, the Kolepa and the Haliminia. Yes.
So Petty, is that dietary information? Do you have that available, like how it's being used in Tonga and Fiji and other places? That'll be interesting to know.
Yeah. Okay, I'll send you my. Oh, I have it on my thesis. If you Google my name on the, I'll look if I have the copy of my thesis. But when I get to the office next week, I'll. But if you Google my name on the Google, yeah,
Okay.
you will see my thesis on a copy of my thesis on.
Okay. Thank you, Sapeti.
Alex, I don't have a question. I have a request of Sapeti. Can you send us some samples of your limu so that we can taste? And there's only a few left on the webinar, so.
When the border opens.
Yes, we can help to test the rehydration process.
Yes. It's very it's surprising how that process really works. When it's fresh, if you rinse it and then it bursts, but when you dry it and then you put it in fresh water and then it goes back to its original state. It's amazing.
Well, thank you again, Sapeti, for openly sharing with us. There was a stream of questions. It's very exciting group. So interested. It just shows the love of limu. Again, happy year of the limu to everyone. Thank you to
Yes,
our
happy year of
American
the
Samoan friends for joining us as well, and thank you, Maria, and for helping to pass on the invitation here. But yeah, so Betsy, do you want to say any closing for us or anything else?
Yeah, I just like to thank everyone, for my friend Kevin who got me into this, and all of you, Alex and Malia and Kelly, it's a privilege and an honor to be part of this celebration, and contribute to whatever work that we are doing here in Samoa. And like I always tell the communities and share this limu work and the experience and knowledge that I have from the research done in Hawaii and around the Pacific. We are all Polynesian, and surely we are connecting in somewhere, and in the ocean, the Pacific, the largest ocean in the world. So I'm very grateful for this opportunity this afternoon, and I think it's worth it. and I can see that we are all Limu people, and we're gonna go to develop, because this is a very underutilized resource. We don't really take notice of it, and we don't really take into consideration the aquaculture side and the benefits that we do get from Limu, and so as hearing our discussion today, it's very interesting, when you have all these people, all of us, that we have this thing beside our hearts, work on the Limu and try to utilize this resource. So I'm very grateful, and I'm thankful that Hawaii is celebrating Limu, because you are the pioneer of the Limu study, our Lady Isabella. And it's very good to be part of this, and we'll continue to network. And like Wally was saying, if you have time, you already experts of Limu. We're just trying to start, from our side and setting up our farm. So we'll probably send you our network some pictures when we complete our setup of our hatchery, and it's open for discussion and open for technical support. So yes, God bless you all, and enjoy the celebration of Limu 2022. Mahalo lava, whakatai.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha, mahalo Sapeti.
Yo, mahalo.
Hello,
Mahalo. Hello, Fiona.
Aloha.
Aloha.
hello, ele koe mawhaka ko tu Sāmoa talks.
Oh, that's great.
Hello, hello, la ia. Yeah.
Okay.
Olela send up email, I'll email you.
Thank you.